who is going to be saved and how it's going to happen, and when Christ will return in glory, have captured the imagination of each generation of believers. The roots of this thinking can be found in this Sunday's Gospel. The earliest Christians, especially the Gentiles, saw that the Jews had been given every opportunity for salvation. They were the chosen people. They had the prophets and the law. They were looking for the Messiah. Jesus, however, didn't come as they expected, or he didn't act as they hoped, so many of them rejected him and his followers. Within a generation after Jesus' death, the Jews were persecuting the Christians, and they expelled them from the synagogue. The Christians took comfort from saying that in the salvation race, the Jews might have begun as the favourites, but they'd missed the start, and now they were coming last. This way of thinking had a strong effect on the church. While we've always believed in the mercy and love of God, at different times we've been hostile to other religions, other denominations, and the secular world. We've often needed to express this in absolute terms about who's going to heaven, who's getting saved, and more importantly, being overly confident about who is not. Pope Francis made it really clear that salvation is God's concern, not ours. And in fact, the Second Vatican Council reflected on the Church's experience of living side by side with other religious people who weren't Christian and with atheists and agnostics who may not share our belief in God but wanted justice, love, hope and goodness to bear in our world. They made a famous declaration on the relationship of the Church to non-Christian religions. And they said that God, in fact, can work in and through people who may not ever put that language around what they do or why they do it. They told us that we had to be respectful, open, and always good to one another. They said that while we affirm that God can work in an infinite number of ways to assist people to salvation, the Church ultimately says that who gets saved and how they get saved is for God alone. This doesn't make salvation any less important. It just clarifies for us that it's God, not us, who's going to do the saving and who's going to do the judging. Christian salvation marks us out as a people who know who we are following, where we are going, how we are getting there, and why this world and the next matters to us. Salvation gives us meaning and purpose, direction, and ultimately, it's the great gift of hope. The way we live out this salvation should be irresistible to others because, as the old folk song sings, they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love, not by our judgment, not by our condemnation. They'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love.